Welcome back all. Throughout this episode I'm going to discuss a bit about some language and a debate which goes on concerning the autism community. I refer to this as person first language and identity first language. Let's get started. I see online a lot of people, and according to research, approximately 90% of autistic people prefer to be called autistic people, and only approximately 10% of those involved in the research like to be called a person with autism. So if it's autistic person, that's what we call identity first language. As many of us on the spectrum, such as myself, we see autism as part of who we are. We see it as part of our identity. However, there are other individuals on the autism spectrum who don't see their autism as part of who they are, so they prefer to view themselves as someone with autism, because this claims that you've got a person here, like if I use myself as Daniel, you've got Daniel with autism. So you've got two separate things, like the autism is not part of Daniel. Some autistic people do see themselves that way. They think that autism is not part of them. So concerning language, whether we refer to someone as person first or identity first, if you're talking about autistic people in general, as I'm doing so here, it doesn't really matter whether you go autistic people or people with autism, because you can't use both at once for an entire group. But if you're going to talk about a specific person or a particular group, it would be appreciated if you would ask that person for their preference. So say if you're a parent and you've got an autistic child, if your child would like to be said to be someone with autism, make sure you talk about your child as someone with autism. But if your child sees their autism as part of their identity, as I do, describe your child as autistic, and same for people in general. And but those of you out there who view yourselves as autistic like me, there's no need to go having a go at people for calling us people with autism, because others don't know our preferences, but cannot read our minds. So don't get so disrupted or upset when someone calls you a person with autism. As long as they're not intending to offend you, there's no reason to get upset over it. But just inform them that you prefer to be called autistic, as that's what I do. If someone is describing themselves as autistic, but it's best for you to describe them as autistic as well. But if they describe themselves as someone with autism, it's best for you to describe the person that way, because they're most likely to describe themselves the way they want people to describe them. Now, I would just like to talk about this thing called high functioning autism and low functioning autism. These two labels are very problematic, because this high and low functioning, it creates some kind of linear perspective, as if the autism spectrum is some straight line from least autistic to most autistic, but that's clearly not true. That's not the way things are. It's more like a colour wheel, as most autistic people describe it, where you're on varying levels of all things which have been associated with autism. Like, for example, there's some individuals who are unable to speak, as I assume most of you will know, and there's other individuals who don't have very good motor skills. There's others who get hyper or hypersensitive, overwhelming anxiety, and so on. But each autistic individual is at varying levels of each one. So what someone who you might describe as low functioning autism, they might not struggle in this area, but someone with what you would describe as high functioning autism will struggle in that area. So just saying low functioning, high functioning does not work in our favour, because it disregards our needs and it dehumanises those described as low functioning. And it's more of an ableist perspective, because you've got low functioning, high functioning, full functioning. So this is supposing that non-autistic people are full functioning humans, high functioning autistic people are better than low functioning autistic people, and low functioning autistic people are not even humans. And then if you're suggesting it's just a plain linear line from least autistic to most autistic, that's actually suggesting that all people are autistic to a certain extent. But we know that that's not true. This is just a stereotype that goes around. I can assure you that only approximately 1 or 2% of the world are autistic. It may be a bit higher than that due to an undiagnosis. But high functioning autism, low functioning autism, whether you call someone autistic or whether you call them a person with autism, it would be appreciated if you would go by the individual's preferences and if you avoid those ableist terms of high functioning and low functioning. Thank you for listening.